sleeve.
Instigators with Paulie D and Chris Kotzop.
Oh, old school.
Oh, here we go. That's a bunch of garbage. And it's being proven right now.
Oh, absolutely. I was a staunch defender of that.
You know, if he doesn't stand on his head in the second period, we don't have a chance.
What a save by Lundqvist. Henry! Why not? That's the chance, and that's the reason why.
Fans are really, really knowledgeable, and I'm very impressed with that. That's anybody else but Alex Ovechkin. That's an automatic suspension.
With this specific player, if he doesn't get 10 games or more, it's a disgrace in the face of the NHL.
What? 15 years, man. That was one of the original intros to the Instigators hockey show, man. I actually personally worked on that coming out of broadcasting school. The music in the background is my brother's band when he was in California. It was called L Squared. Man, how about that? Does that bring you back or what, man?
Well, we had the phones back then. We had to wind them up and talk to them.
Hello?
Alexander Graham Bell.
Is this thing on? Yep. That was crazy, man. So I dug that up today, and I thought because this is 15 years, this is 15 years of bringing the Instigators hockey show, I thought that would be really cool. We're probably going to use it throughout the year. I really thought that was cool. And I want to make a new one with the guys. So we're going to put some clips in with Hckey and Maddie and kind of phase into a whole new one. But I was so happy to hear that, to find that today. I was doing some searching, and it just brings me back to a time and all that we've done to get right here. Without further ado, to my left, maybe your right, we got Maddie, the mailman Lips.
What's going on, guys?
We'll pull down.
Ooh, I wooed you. Give me a Ric Flair.
We'll soon have to pull down that number 10 behind him. And then down here, under Maddie, and we can switch him, is Hckey Duggan Otizu.
Where you been, Ricky?
Just 1 week.
I missed a week because the internet exploded down here. Verizon went out. Everything went dead.
Your car
Al Gore forgot to invent it.
an accident? You couldn't find your way home?
No, there was a cyber attack because Donald Trump wants Greenland.
And then
Get Al Gore.
Of course, our celebrity, our in-house former NHL defenseman for the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, Montreal Canadiens.
What?
Oh, I mean, wait a minute.
Montreal.
What the fuck did you say?
Since when? Montreal.
New York
Holy,
Rangers.
holy, show how big the beer mug is tonight. Hold it up. Hold up the mug.
I know. We got to have some fun. But, of
He's
course.
busting a good T-shirt tonight. He's got a nice concert shirt on.
He does got a
Chris
nice concert suit.
Kotzopoulos,
Yes.
all president defenseman and my personal buddy for many, many years, 15 years of programming, 17 years together, Kotz.
Is there any way I could expunge the stats from Detroit?
Yeah, just don't.
I'll find it for you.
That's hilarious. It's hilarious. I knew I had to come in that way, man. I had to come in that way. So we missed you last week, Rick, but we did have a good show. It was a lot of fun. Stuff happens and we get it. At the end of the day, we continue to move forward. And guess what? Good news. Beth is in the chat room feeling a little bit better. We're happy to see you back. We love you, Beth. Please take care of your health, and we need you every day. Thank you for doing the post today. Guys, let's not forget the website. Beth did a lot of really good stuff on the website. The Instigators Hockey Show website page is really cool. Beth, if there's a way, let's get that on both the Facebook groups And maybe Maddie can kind of push that on Instagram and TikTok for sure.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done, my friends.
Ricky's going to come out with some shirts for people to buy. We want you to buy the shirts. This is an old one. Ricky's going to do some new art and some old art, and we'll get some shirts out to people. So we want to take orders for that. If you're listening to the show, you got to wear a shirt, man. You got to wear a shirt. You got to support the Instigators Hockey Show.
Always.
So enough of that out of the way. I don't know who wants to start. You want to start with who's hot and who's not?
I think we should dive right into the trades. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone wants to talk about right now. We got a couple big trades going on. Rasmus Anderson and Kiefer Sherwood.
You know,
before the deadline.
We are gonna talk about that, but you need a little foreplay first. You know what I'm saying?
A little foreplay. Woo! Talk dirty to me.
So let's start off with who's hot and who's not. So hot, still hot, red hot. One of the hottest teams in the East. Maddie said it earlier this year when we first started. The Tampa Bay Lightning are 9-0-1. They are the hottest team in the league right now. 9-0-1. And then Vegas, 7-2-1. There's a couple other teams that are in that house. And then, of course, who's not hot? 0-8-2 of the Vancouver Canucks. Looks like they've made the trade, and we're gonna talk about that. And then, of course, our beloved Rangers, and we'll talk about them. They're sucking pretty bad at 2-7-1 in their last 10. So, Ricky, we'll start with you.
All right. So my who's hot? Taylor Gerard from the Ladies Professional Hockey League. I don't know if anybody saw her. Plays for New York. Came off the bench the other night to defend one of her teammates and started a brawl. Got the largest suspension in the history of the Ladies Professional Hockey League. And then she put out bikini photos today to make sure she got in the public image.
She makes the ice melt. That's how hot she is, right?
Yes. I mean, honestly, all joking around aside, she's my new favorite player.
Really?
But yeah, I want to say the Ladies
jersey.
Professional Hockey League is on fire. I watched a couple games myself last week, and I'm really proud to say that league is taken off, and there's some really good competition and good hockey over there. And who's not? The Rangers and Canucks are absolutely in a battle for ping pong balls right now. And we're going to see how it goes down. Both teams are tanking. NHL Network today, there was a couple different guests on who mentioned the theory behind the Ranger letter is they are going full ping pong, is what they called it. They are looking to conquer this year's draft, which the experts feel there's at least 5 to 10 players that could go in the top 5 in this year's draft. So it's a stacked draft, and the Rangers are looking to corner the market on it. So we'll see if they can get that right. Vegas is red hot again after going through a tailspin, but it also coincides with getting their goalie Hill back, which is a good thing for them. And what are you going to say? Colorado's Colorado, man.
Yeah.
Listen, real quick, just the Women's Hockey League. It's so good for just sports in general that, a lot of us on stage here have daughters, and to see professional sports going, females in professional sports, and the league taking off. I mean, now the Women's Professional Hockey League is very young, and the fact that it's taking off so quickly and really interesting to see, it's really good sign. So I just want to say that. But for starters, you got to go Buffalo. Buffalo's hot. Buffalo's really, really good right now. And honestly, they're 15 out of the last 18 games they've won. And they've looked impressive in doing so. They haven't made a move just yet, but I feel like they will. They fired Adams, their GM, and they just took off from there. So Buffalo's a team that don't sleep on them. They could make a move in the East for sure. And they could potentially make some noise. As for
I saw them last night live. I was at the game last night with Nashville. And early on, they played the best 10 minutes of hockey I've seen in the last 15 years in the first 10 minutes when they put up 3 goals. They were flying, they were hitting, and they looked unstoppable. And then it kind of leveled out as the game went on. But they're one good player away from being pretty serious.
I mean, listen, they are. If they make a move and they get somebody, I mean, I don't know. I feel like their defense is okay. If they get another top 6, Buffalo's going to be tough. Because they're big. I know they don't have playoff experience, so I wouldn't take them over Tampa, but I think they're better than Detroit. I think they probably, with another piece, would be better than Montreal. I think Buffalo's legit. As for who's not, Vancouver is just a dumpster fire at this point. They traded Hughes, they traded Shearwood. Now they're probably going to trade Garland or DeBrusque. So it'll be interesting to see between the Rangers and the Canucks who's worse. But Vancouver right now, I think, is probably the worst team in the league. Rangers aren't far behind, though.
And the coach, Adam Foote, called out his veterans the other day, let them know that he's not happy with the way they're playing in Vancouver. But listen, Buffalo's been on the cusp for the last couple of years when you really think about the talent they have on their team.
Yeah.
It's always been a pretty talented team the last 3-4 years when you look at some of the studs they have on that squad. And yet somehow, some way, they managed to just screw up their seasons every year for the last 2-3 years. But they're a big squad. They got great size. They got good goal scoring. They're doing well. But you know what? I hate to even bring this up. Damn, Montreal looks good. I don't care what you tell me.
Oh, who called that one, guys? Who was on that one?
For me to say that Montreal looks good is like sacrilegious. I mean, growing up in Toronto, next door to Quebec, the province, and just hating the Montreal Canadiens as I grew up. And that team's the team that's going to be the most scariest to play in the playoffs, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow,
Scariest?
Well, you
in the East or the West, or just in general?
East, the Montreal Canadiens.
Over Tampa.
They'll be true. I'm not saying that they're Tampa. I'm saying they'll be tough to play against. And I'm still not convinced that Tampa. I could give two shits about what they're doing. Okay?
Okay.
Be honest with you. There's nobody in the East that's dominant. Just go look at the standings.
I agree.
Pretty simple. One team's in the 60s, the next one's in 58. Everybody's still alive in the East except for the Rangers. Think about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Montreal's got some great goal scoring. Those guys like Caulfield and Suzuki and all that stuff. I mean,
that game was awesome.
And they got the physicality too. They're not a small team. You got some pretty good size there. They like to take the body in it. But it really hurts me to talk this long about the Montreal Canadiens. I think like that's a team that I'd be a little bit scared to play right now if I was in the playoffs.
Listen,
Montreal's looking to make a splash at the deadline too. I mean, they're not gonna. They've got prospects and they've got young players that they could spare on that team. They could be really dangerous.
Has Panarin got any friends there in Montreal? Because all I keep reading, he's got a friend on this team. He's got a friend on that team. He's got a friend here. He's got Bobrovsky, the friends in Minnesota. Has he got a friend in Montreal?
I hope so.
Demidov's the only Russian I could think of, right? Demidov's.
I have no idea. That's all I keep reading. I keep reading about, well, he's got a friend here, so he might be happy going there. And he's got a friend here, and he might be happy going there, So I keep reading.
Well, it's an interesting situation, guys. I mean, to be honest with you, you have a player that's going to tell you where he's going to go.
Yeah.
And, they floated today. Frank Cerny's put out today that at least 5 teams have inquired about Mika, even more so than Trocheck. And what a difficult situation it is because Mika keeps coming out publicly and saying, I'm not going to waive. He's not even giving them a chance to talk to him.
Well, listen, everyone, I know we're going to get to the Rangers a little bit, but real quick, everyone on this panel did not believe in Mika Zibanejad, and I did prior to the season, and he's almost a point-per-game player this year. Zibanejad has had a great year this year, and in a very terrible year for the New York Rangers. Mika Zibanejad has been very, very good. But I don't want to stay too long on the Rangers. We'll get to them in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Now, Paulie will back me up on this there, Matt. I've been a Mika fan since he came to the Rangers, even though he's had 2 horseshit years previous years. He's been great this year. But this is what you should be doing. You shouldn't have those 2 bad years. You're supposed to be one of the leaders on the team. You're one of the highest paid players on the team. You're the number 1 center on the team. He should be doing what he's doing. He is having a fantastic year. There's no question about it. But how do you move a guy that's still got 5 years left on his contract? Yeah. I think Mika's going to be here for the long run, guys. I think I've changed on that. Somebody's going to have to make an unbelievable offer for him to leave. Because if you lose him, who's your number 1 center?
JT Miller.
Oh, okay. and Trocheck.
I'll try the Trocheck staying.
I'm just saying, if you lose Mika right now, Who's going to be your number one center next year?
Uh,
It's going to be a tough.
Who cares?
It's going to be a tough one. But
you're gonna be getting ping pong balls again next year. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
that's possible. It's possible, but
listen, if you're going to go any team in the league, if you're going to really, you want to say you're going to put a Band-Aid on it, you're not doing a complete rebuild, right? That's what they keep saying. But let's be honest. If you have the number one player in your organization in the last 20 years who is putting up points and scoring goals every single season, say what you want about Panarin, and I busted him hard in the beginning of the season because he was terrible. You're not putting a Band-Aid on a team. You're rebuilding when you're getting rid of your best player. Plain and simple. There's no way to cover it up. It is not a rebuild. I mean, it's not a retool. You're scrapping it down. You're going with what Kotze says all year long. You're going to have a 33-year-old center with one bad shoulder and a bad knee. You're going to have Mika Zibanejad at 33 years old. And then you have Fox, who they're saying they're keeping, and you're going to have Igor. Everybody else can go. I even heard today that they're listening to offers on Will Cooley. And I'm really happy to hear that because I'm sick of him too.
Well, let's. I don't know if I thought we were going to go a little bit here, Maddie. I wanted you to talk about the trade, obviously with Sherwood and Anderson and some of the noise around the league, and then we'll jump back to the New York Rangers. I know the Rangers are a lot of noise. But I want to kind of bounce around with some of the other noise around town. Unless you guys just want to just dive in right now and
let's talk about the two trades here.
We can mix it up. There's no problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Sherwood trade and the Rasmussen trade set up down the road for what we're going to talk about anyway, because it shows what the market's paying.
Agreed.
Right. I think the consensus under Sherwood and Anderson is that it's 100% a seller's market. I think you can all agree with me about that.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, Anderson's a UFA at the end of the year, and for Rasmus Anderson, Vegas potentially gave up 2 first-round picks, an NHL player, and a semi-decent prospect. So either a first and second-round pick or 2 firsts. And I mean, Rasmus Anderson's a nice player, but is he a top pair defenseman? He's probably a top 4, right? Would you guys say so? I wouldn't have him on my top pair. And you're giving up almost 2 first-round picks if you win the Stanley Cup this year. That's a big haul for Rasmus Anderson, in my opinion. And Kiefer Sherwood, they wanted a first-round pick for him. They got 2 seconds and an AHL prospect, a guy who's 25 that's not going to make the league. So the Sharks did well to get Sherwood because they're trying to get in the playoffs for Celebrini and whatnot like that. But to be 100% honest with you, I thought Vancouver might have gotten a first for Sherwood. Kind of surprised the Sharks got him. But like I said, I really think this is a seller's market, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, what else is Vancouver trying to do? They're trying to get rid of the Swede, Pedersen.
Yeah.
They're trying to get rid of
Garland and DeBrusk.
Who really wants them?
Yeah.
Carolina would take him. Carolina would take him.
Listen, that's another one. Colorado's also up there. I heard maybe Panarin too, believe it or not, guys. So
do they have that kind of room in the cap?
They do.
They can make it.
Okay, so they talked about it today that right now, the one team who has severe interest in them that does not have the cap space at all because they're holding it for their Maddie's buddy for the playoffs is Florida. The Florida Panthers have basically said they're not interested in trying to make a deal because they're holding on to their cap space for when they have to get the penalty for the playoffs this year for Barkov. And Dallas, Detroit, and they said the number one team right now would be even money is the Washington Capitals.
That's pretty crazy.
For Panarin.
For Panarin.
I'm hearing Colorado, Dallas, and Florida.
Yeah, Florida said today that they don't have the cap space.
What does it tell you?
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
I don't know
you
if Florida could fit them. They paid for everybody last year. I mean, they got a fair price for everybody. You got Marchand. They re-signed Bennett to a big contract. Obviously, you got Barkov. You got Tkachuk. You got Bobrovsky. They got some contracts. So I don't know what they would do there. But I keep hearing Dallas too. And I'll be honest with you. I think Drury wants to send them out west anyway.
Well, listen,
I don't think he wants to see them.
The biggest thing Friedman said about Panarin is that he wants a contract that'll take him into 40. So whoever he gets traded to, he wants a contract extension. That's what he said. So And Panarin didn't want to take a team-friendly deal. He wants his money. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes and if he gets that extension. So, we'll see.
Well, if he goes anywhere, he's got to go to a top team, plain and simple. Because if he's going to a middle-of-the-road team or under, he's going to play the same way he's playing here. He'll score points, but it'll be minus 50. You know what I mean? It'll be the same shit all over again. So for him to go somewhere, he's got to go somewhere that's already loaded a little bit, where he can just do his thing and not have a problem, playing the game and helping their team win with his offense. Because if you're bringing him into a middle of the road team, he's going to be your number one guy.
100%.
So I think it's going to be a high profile team. That's my gut guess.
I do too. That's why I think it's probably going to be Dallas. I don't know. My other question is, can Colorado afford him? Rick, I know we said Florida, but how can Colorado afford him? I thought Colorado was pretty much against the cap. Do we got any analytics there?
Like I said, I'm just going off of guys today that I listened to for Sir Elliott, and those guys that were, on their radio shows. Yeah. And they said Carolina, Washington are the leaders right now. They confirmed Dallas has interest, and they said Florida was against the cap. So they're saying that the Avs have the money. So we'll see.
And then my next question is Trocheck. Do you think, first of all, my first question, I thought he had a limited no movement clause too.
12 teams. 12.
He's got 12 choice teams that he can go to?
He can block 12 teams. He has a 12-team no trade.
He's basically got half the league blocked.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you factor in, it's probably, if they're not on there, which most people don't add, it's going to be the Islanders and the Devils and the Flyers automatically, because the Rangers won't trade him there anyway. So he's really got 15.
Right. Exactly.
Now, one surprise today that's a big surprise to me, and it's been a lot of chatter about it, is the Chicago Blackhawks looking to add Trocheck as a veteran center down the middle to, one, mentor Bedard, and two, have a quality faceoff guy because they think they have a shot at the playoffs.
Well, and I think it makes sense for the Rangers because I think Chicago can offer some good meat for him. So.
I want to break this down, right? From the Keandre Miller trade, I spent a lot of time looking at teams' organizations, right? The Avs do not have a deep prospect pool. The Avs have a lot of small Europeans. Dallas, small Europeans. They don't have a lot of big guys. Dallas has the one kid, I forget his name. I sent it to you last night, Matty, that I said they have to include him. He's a USA kid, 6'3.5", 220, and he hits everything that moves out of Michigan.
Right.
The Florida Panthers, terrible. Carolina, awful. We took their best prospect in Morrow. That should tell you right now they don't have a deep prospect pool. There's not a lot of prospects out there right now for us to fleece on these guys. People are saying, we're going to get this and then we're going to get that. I got news for you. There's not a lot of NHL-ready prospects on any of those four teams because they've dealt them over the last 3 or 4 years to stay competitive. Chicago, on the other hand, has been drafted in the top 5 for the last 7 to 8 years. They've gotten multiple number 1 picks all over the place, and they're deep as can be. And now Nashville, 100% is in on breaking the team down. Again, last night confirming that Stamkos – again, something we had, Stamkos to Montreal is hot right now. He has said he would not mind going to Montreal. O'Reilly is playing lights out hockey right now, and his value is going right through the roof. And here's my problem. Make the deals before these other teams swoop in and steal what we could be getting. Because you don't want to be selling the third guy on the center block. You want to sell the first guy who's under contract control. Matty made that point for months. Trocheck is the most appealing player out there right now because you get him for 3 seasons, 3 playoff runs. But you don't want him going after O'Reilly because whoever trades for O'Reilly is probably going to make the best deal.
And listen, you got guys like Trocheck they're usable if you put them on the right squad right now. I mean, Chicago sounds good to me too because of what you guys just said. They're young. He's going to go there. He's not going to get the ice time over Bedard or whatever, you know what I mean? But he'll be there to kill penalties and be there in a clutch situation. A guy like him needs to go somewhere where they're not really Stanley Cup contenders, but they're close. You know what I mean? And he'd help that team. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to go somewhere. Well, automatically makes him a favorite to be the Stanley Cup.
I agree.
I like Trocheck's game. Don't get me wrong. He kills penalties. He's got a little sandpaper. He does, add.
I like Trocheck. Trocheck. If you watched the game last night, after every whistle, Trocheck's the guy who's pushing somebody's helmet down over their eyes. He's giving them the stink glove.
He's a competitor, man. He's always going to be a competitor.
He cares. I'll just say that word.
He does. Exactly. He's a competitor. He's always been a competitor. That's really where that's his game.
Do you guys think draft capital is the way to go though? Like I don't know. You tell me. Like you think if you load up on the draft all the time? I mean, it's proven wrong with certain.
Not the way we draft, but
well, it's not just them. There's a bunch of other teams that do the same thing too over the years and doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
Well, they're definitely
remember Yakupov, guys like that. I mean,
but what scares me is hearing that Drury is telling the league, "I'll listen to an offer, but I want to keep Lafreniere. We could fix him." And you know what's funny? They used the excuse word for word that I put out on this show a couple weeks ago when I said he came up in a bubble. It was COVID. He wasn't eligible to play in the AHL like Perreault was. Like all of a sudden, the Rangers are saying all the right things about Lafreniere, but it took 6 years for them to have this kid's back. 6 years. And it's a little annoying to listen to the hypocrisy of this front office coming out and saying, oh, it really wasn't his fault. He was the number 1 overall pick, but it was during COVID, and a lot of guys couldn't play. We were in a bubble. Could you imagine being a 19-year-old kid locked in a bubble? Like all of a sudden the excuses are pouring in. Where were these the last couple of years? Where were they sticking up for this kid the last couple of years?
Well, that's the problem, Ricky. That's the big problem. I've talked to a few of my former teammates there in New York, and here's what they say on Lafreniere. I'm not going to mention names, but it's more than one guy. They just didn't treat him right off the bat. He wasn't the focus like all these other number 1 picks are right away. He wasn't the focus of the team when he came to the Rangers.
You just made a great point because here's what they said today.
Focus. Like you didn't focus on him getting all the the real nice easy layup ice time. You know what I mean?
Hckey, they said today, I was listening to it, and it was an amazing point someone made. They said when Bedard came in the league, he was handed the keys to Chicago. He was given number 1 power play, number 1 line, extra time minutes.
New Jersey.
Carlson, Hughes, all of these guys came in and became the focus. He came in and played 3rd line on his offside. He did not get power play time. He wasn't given time to go out there and shine. And I did not know this. I did not know he broke almost every one of Mario Lemieux's records in junior. I never really looked him up in junior because he played for such an obscure team in the Quebec League. But my God, the numbers this kid put up with in the World Juniors and junior, and then to honestly listen to somebody else say it, I guess because we say it all the time and it's in our head, but to hear somebody else say, he came in and was treated like he was just a 5th-round pick off the street. He wasn't given the key to New York.
You and I talked about this all the time on our shows about him not being part of the focus group. That's what I call it. Part of it. It doesn't excuse what he's done. Okay?
No.
Doesn't excuse that at all as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if he was not a number 1 choice, I wouldn't even yell at the guy. I mean, he'd be like, okay, you were a 4th-round pick. You're getting us, you're 5th on the team in scoring. I'm okay with that. But because he's a number 1 pick, it's easy to jump on him, and rightfully so. But, Paul, you and I talked about this with you in the previous years with him. He never got the number 1 power play time early. Chris Kreider got it. Okay? He never got to, kill penalties or any of those situations early in his career. Now, did he deserve it by his play? That's, you can flip a coin on that. But, the Rangers didn't do him any justice either, plain and simple. And if I was Alexis Lafreniere right now, I'd want to get the hell out of there.
Listen, when he came into the New York Rangers, Kreider just had it, or his rookie season, Kreider had 52 goals. Panarin, he's been lights out. So the left side was locked up. He only had to play on the 3rd line. And Lafreniere just wasn't given the right opportunity. And like you said, Kotze, if he's a middle 6 forward, and he's, let's say, a third-round pick or a second-round pick, or even 25th overall, a late first-round pick, does anyone really think Lafreniere is a bad pick if he's, let's just say, 25th overall and he's getting you 40 to 50 points in a season?
No.
He's first overall, and it just so happens that
It comes with a heavy piano. I get it.
but a lot of it gets magnetized because Schaefer comes in the Islanders and changes that whole franchise around as a defenseman. Celebrini comes in and is a Hart finalist this year, in my opinion, and should win. That's just my opinion. Bedard would have had a 100-point season this year if he was healthy. All those guys had immediate impact. And again, Ricky, to your point, he put up unbelievable numbers in juniors. If Lafreniere goes to Chicago, San Jose, Montreal, even a Toronto, he could totally be a 30-goal scorer for his career. And he can figure it out. Will he? Will he get traded? I don't know. But the Rangers would have to get good value for him in return if they did let him go. But the one thing I always hate on Chris Drury is that he sells players at their worst point. Chris Kreider was at his worst point last year. That's when he sold him. Jacob Trouba, same thing. So if somebody overpays for Lafreniere, I do it. If not,
it's a tragic situation, both ways. Any way you want to look at Alexis Lafreniere. I mean, Paulie can't stand him. I get it now. It's been 5-6 years, all that stuff. But anybody that thinks he actually got pushed by the Rangers, they're full of shit.
But he's a fine hockey player.
How do you work the power play when the guys you just mentioned, Kreider, Panarin, this guy, that guy, take up a minute and a half or a minute and 40 of it? Yeah. And then they throw Lafreniere on. Go do your job now.
This our captain does not take line shifts off at all in the power play. He plays a minute and 50.
Those guys are out there forever. I mean, it was handled badly. That's all I'm saying.
I definitely, there's no debate. I think anybody who knows the game, I have to agree with you 100%. You talk about number one drafts, they become the player on the team like Ricky had brought into this. Here's the keys to the city. Number one line, number one power play. Go ahead and make your mistakes. Go ahead and find your game. We got your back. That didn't happen with Lafreniere. Absolutely agree with that 100%. But here we are. I mean, what are we in? Year 6, year 7? He's played with Panarin. He's played with Trocheck. He's played with Zibanejad. He's played with everybody he can play. He's played on all the top lines. He still misses the fucking net. Still isn't right in the right spot. He just – I think he needs – and what sucks is, to Matty's point, and Chris, yours too, what's going to suck is they're going to move this guy out, and he's going to have success somewhere. He's going to go to Toronto, or he'll go somewhere like San Jose, like you said, and you watch. Like Matty said, he becomes a 25, 27, 30-goal scorer year after year after year. That's the part that kills us. But at the same time, it's been he had one good year 2 years ago. Last year he was not very good, and this year he's not been very good. And it's funny, they played LA the other night, right? And I watched what's his name? Byfield. And he missed that breakaway. He had the breakaway and he shot it over net. And I was like, these two guys just have not been successful. Byfield has not been very successful with LA either.
No. Well, we got a successful kid in the NHL who just signed a very big contract extension in the last couple hours. I don't know if anybody's seen, but Josh Dolan just signed 7 years, $7 million.
Let me finish this thing on
7 million. Wow.
As a former player, when you watch him play, I could make a highlight film of him scoring goals for the Rangers in his time here. That is fantastic. Stuff that guys can't even think of doing. But in the end, when you watch him play, does he not look submissive to the Panarins and submissive to the guys that are the stars on the team? I think he plays below them in his mind. I think he thinks that in his mind. I really do. I think he's always been submissive towards them. I mean, that's just the way I think it is. Because they never counted on him to be the number one guy. They never let him be the number one guy. They never put him in the number one position. And I think he's just, kind of flattened out as a New York Ranger.
But my thing too, also with him is he's 6 years in, as we said, right? And he doesn't have a letter on the sweater, right? As a number one overall pick. And, if let's just say things aren't panning out points-wise, you're not getting the goals, you're not getting the assists, could you at least show leadership at that point? He was a captain in juniors, correct me if I'm wrong. So, I would like to see a little more leadership. He's a veteran now. He's not a young kid. We got to take the training wheels off of him.
There's too many old guys in front of him, though, Matty. I get what you're saying. You're right. You are not wrong in what you're saying, but how's he going to take JT Miller's spot? How's he going to take Jen's spot? Aaron's spot?
He's been here a minute, basically.
Spot.
Listen, I said this in the beginning of the season. When they got rid of Ryan Reeves, it was a major problem because it was his best friend on the team. The best year that he had was the year he dropped his gloves 2 or 3 times. He fought Stamkos. He fought the kid on the Islanders. His nose was dirty after every play. He was in pushing and shoving and sticking up for teammates. And he looked like he was coming into his own. And all of a sudden, they got rid of his best friend. He looks like a lost puppy when he comes. They would show the videos. It was him, Reeves, and Igor screaming release on the way out and everything else. Now you don't see him do any of that emotion. He's lost that cutting edge a little bit. When's the last time you've seen him in a scrum? When's the last time he came in and hit somebody after a whistle for bumping one of his teammates? Because the first couple years he was doing that. He's not playing with an edge whatsoever. Nothing.
Well, all he's doing is copying the rest of the team, Ricky.
Yeah. I will say that, to both your points, Kotze will definitely back me up with this. Even when he wasn't scoring, Rick, in the first couple of years of his play, he was doing those things. He was getting his nose dirty. He was going in the corners. And I said to Kotze, at least the kid's playing the game still. He's getting involved. Here's the other thing I've noticed about him, more now than ever before, especially this year. He looks more submissive, as Kotze said. He looks like he wants to pass the puck more. I don't feel like he's decisive inside of his playmaking decisions. Go to the fucking net, kid. You got the talent. Shoot the puck. Find the back of the net. I don't see him being decisive like he once was, or at least he seems very submissive to where he looks to pass now more than ever before. And I don't know if that's with the influence of Panarin and Trocheck on his line where he's looking to get them the pucks or whatever he's trying to do, but he's just
Listen, guys,
I have a question.
All you want. The bottom line is he was a number one pick, and he came in as a number one pick overall. Then the whole league thought he was number one pick overall. The world thought he was number one, and he came to the Rangers, and guess what?
He pooped.
Like Matty said, he was treated like a third-round choice.
I have a question.
That's why he's submissive to the veteran guys who have done it before.
Let me ask you guys this. In Florida's 3 years of making the Stanley Cup Finals, winning 2 cups, has Alexis Lafreniere had the best series against Florida of any player? And they played Connor McDavid twice in the Stanley Cup Finals. Can you remember a player having that good of a series against Florida, where Florida shuts everybody down and Lafreniere shined with some, like you said, Kotze, highlight reel goals?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
but it's
there.
On a consistent basis.
It's there. It's somewhere in there. It's just a matter of consistency. He can't do it consistently because if that player played like he did against Florida and you're playing teams that aren't nearly as good as Florida, he'd be a 40-goal guy easily every year. And it's frustrating, very frustrating. So, I mean, if you're going to retool him, then you're going to have to get in the mindset of, okay, Lafreniere, you are the rock that we're building upon. You are top line left wing. You are power play 1. We're putting you into a leadership role. Next year, we're putting an A on your sweater, and we're going to get behind you because we're going to have another top 5 pick, most likely, and you're going to help lead that guy to fix the mistakes that we made with you. That's that.
If he's not traded, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to
exactly what
they're going to have to let him kill penalties. They're going to have to let him play center. They're going to have to put him in every tough situation on the ice. Let him be the guy with the most ice time of the forwards.
Yeah,
that's if you want to keep him. If you don't, well, that's another story.
You know, that's a great
return.
It's a great point to what Ricky had started early on with the conversation when Chris Drury said they're not giving up on him. So maybe maybe that's what they're thinking is, all right, well, we might have screwed up with this kid, but we believe he's talented enough. We're gonna start shedding people like Panarin and you know whoever else, Trocheck, and this kid's gonna play all the top minutes. Going to put him in all the top circumstances, and you know he's got enough freaking NHL experience to kind of not make such rookie mistakes, but yet still be treated like the number one guy.
Well, right now, they're not going to be able to do that with him right now because right now you got to showcase Panarin, and Panarin should be out there every second shift. That's the bottom line.
Well, he was last night. Did you watch the game in the third period? They double shifted him and benched Radish. He was playing.
You got it. This is the one thing that I never understood. Like in Toronto one year, we had Russ Courtnall still hadn't reached his peak as a player, and we wanted to trade him in Toronto. And what did we do? We benched him and put him in the bleachers up top there in the gondola in Toronto, and all the scouts are going like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Well, they don't want me to play here. Well, we can get him for nothing now, so we traded him for Johnny Kordic. God rest your soul, but we got Johnny Kordic for Russ Courtnall. You play the shit out of these guys, showcase them.
Yeah,
the guys you're trying to trade have got to play more ice time than anybody else on the roster right now.
Are we full in on the Rangers right now? Or are we still talking?
No, it's obvious.
Well, and I got one more. Who's not? And who's not is the New York media since Larry Brooks has passed away. Because let me tell you something: the joke of the coverage the Rangers have gotten, and the shills that are writing for the New York Rangers right now. How about the fact the last two games Matt Rempe's name wasn't even mentioned as a scratch? How about he literally was just, here's tonight's lineups, and this is what's going on. Has anybody heard from Adam Edstrom in the last 6 months? I think Ice got him, to be honest with you. I think he's back in wherever the hell he came from.
What is the story with Rempe, Ricky?
Well, I gave the story. I broke the story. My friend.
Thumb and all that. Why is he not playing?
His thumb is mangled. He had a surgery. He was cut from the tip of his thumb to the middle of his wrist.
Yeah,
his thumb is not bending like a normal, like you can go like this with your thumb. His thumb is locked right here, straight up and down position. It was broken in multiple places. He had a major surgery with nerve damage to his arm, to his finger. They rushed him back. And if you remember, because I went back and watched the game, Ross Johnson challenged him to a fight.
Yeah, I remember.
He took his glove off, and he went like this, and he was wearing a flesh-colored brace on his thumb. This organization took a player who his only game right now is to defend his teammates and hit and play physical hockey, and they put him on the ice with one hand and not ready to play. That's enough said. Enough said. You don't want these goddamn people developing your talent, because this is why Jim Ramsey was fired, for saying they should have never gotten Kane, that he wasn't ready to play in the NHL, and Drury fired the trainer of 20 years. Now you got a kid who can't play. We don't get a media update on Adam Edstrom's out 3 months on an injury that took place on a line rush in practice. Where is the coverage of this team? Why do I have to go to Elliot Friedman in Edmonton and listen to Edmonton Talk Radio every day to hear about the New York Rangers? Why? Here's something that bothers the shit out of me, right? Why is Igor Shesterkin never given an interview?
Guy on top of you there. Matty will give you all the scoops.
Why is Igor Shesterkin never given an interview between periods for the New York Rangers? But Panarin doesn't get interviewed. He doesn't get it. You get the same three guys every game. But NHL Network gets Igor, right? I watched Igor do a Jeffy interview with Boyle and speaks perfect English. Why did the New York Rangers shelter their fans from the core of the team? Why does Chris Drury escape with never being around? Why did the New York – and, finally some of the insiders in the NHL in the last week have called out Jed Ortmeyer. And I want to know where you heard that first. Right here on this fucking show. They said, how do you trust an organization to draft when Jed Ortmeyer and Tanner Glass were your development people in that organization?
Well, listen, here's the thing about the Rangers. Here's the thing. They are in position to – they can't retool. They got to rebuild. I mean, retool is just stupid if they're going to retool on this at this point. They are in position – we said it before. It's a seller's market. If they trade off Schneider, which we'll get into a little bit, if they trade off Panarin, which they probably will, they trade off Trocheck and Carson Soucy, they will have the pieces to at least get draft capital, but they got to hit and they got to develop. And I don't trust Chris Drury drafting. I honestly don't know what's the bigger issue. Chris Drury drafting or Jed Ortmeyer and Tanner Glass developing. I don't know what's the bigger issue with this team. Probably a little bit of both, but they'll have the assets to kickstart this rebuild and get this team going in the right direction. But do you trust that to happen? So we'll see.
I got a question for you guys. Like this player development thing, like what the fuck is it? Like really?
They set the plan.
I know what it is.
What I'm saying, you're scripting an amateur kid's career. You're telling them, look, we're going to put you in rookie camp. We're going to send you here. You're going to go to this power skating coach. You're going to go. And,
you know what that is actually, Ricky? It's just a label put on a guy that's got a job with the organization. Because really, what are you telling them? How are you teaching them to develop? I don't get that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need.
You know. You don't want nothing to do with it right now.
You got to bring the Moose back, dude. You need pedigree. You need
Sean Avery, GM, or Kotze.
Huh?
You
need either Sean Avery or Kotze for GM.
You give me 3 to 5 years. I'll guarantee you one thing.
Well, fucking put your name in the hat, big boy.
You won't lose games with your tails between your legs. Okay.
Well, I told you that fucking 10 years ago. I said, put your name in the hat, there, big boy.
Kotze, do it.
Hey, Kotze. I have a question for you, Kotze. I heard a very interesting interview the other day, and I was just wondering if you were part of this team. Were you in Ranger camp with Micah Ruzioni in 81? I mean, I'm sorry, in 79?
No, I wasn't, but I played with him in Toledo in 78.
Okay. I just heard
Ruzioni wasn't in camp in 79. He was there before that.
Oh, yeah, I must have messed up the date, but I heard him say that he would have never have been on Team USA if the Rangers didn't cut him.
Micah Ruzioni was a great guy in the dressing room.
Right.
As a player,
he was okay.
Average at best.
Yes.
Okay? But he was a great guy in the dressing room. When I played with him, I was 19 turning 20. He was already 24, 25 years old, guys. Yeah. In Toledo, okay? And I think I'm repeating myself, but Paulie, how many times have I told you this story? Like, I asked him one time, I said, right after the Olympics, I bumped into him somewhere. I think he was doing USA Network, and I asked him, why didn't you sign a contract like everybody else did? Jim Craig did, this guy did, that guy did. He goes, why? He goes, why would I? He says, I couldn't play in the NHL. He didn't want to tarnish his gold medal captaincy.
He came right to the Rangers as a broadcaster, correct? He came down and he was the original John Giannone, the guy in between the benches for a little while.
I just remember him from being like playing with him, and then him being on the USA Network. He was on the USA Network too, Ricky. The Friday night games at one time.
Yeah. With Al Trapp.
He was. I mean, he scored a big goal against the Russians, and he just went off into the sunset. He's still admired today for what he did as a captain of that team. You know?
Yeah, I was just wondering because he mentioned Toledo, and I know you were down there, and I was just wondering if you had ever heard that story.
No.
Well,
listen, the bottom line is with the Rangers, okay, outside of showcasing the guys you're hoping to move, you got to start playing the young kids over the Radishes and all these other guys, the Brzezinskis and all that stuff. I mean, Will Cooley's got to play more. Laba's got to play more. Perreault's got to play more. Morrow's got to play more. Othman, what's the guy down in Hartford, Ricky? The big guy, Chalamar. What's his real name? What's his real name? You know, you got to start bringing these guys and letting them play. You got to let them play. They need to get the experience. They need to go with the good and the bad. Like, okay, I screwed up on this play, but you don't sit him out or send him back to Hartford. You let him play again. This is what you got to find out if there's any of these guys are going to be there 3 to 5 years from now. You have to find out now and next year, between now and next year, whether these guys are going to be solidified as spots on the Ranger team outside of the drafting, outside of who you're going to get in trades. I still think they're going to get some players back in trades, though, that are going to play for the team, not just draft choices.
No, they will. Yeah. They will.
Hey, so I want to ask you guys, because I think this is a question that we really haven't talked about at this point. I mean, we all know what direction this team is going. What do you think is in Sullivan's mind at this point? Do you think he came into this team thinking he was going to rescue them and things were going to turn around and they were going to get back to that team that made a run and lost to Florida? Or did you think he was thinking, wow, this team it needs some work and we're probably going to have a long haul or a retool or a rebuild or whatever you want to recall it?
I think it's somewhere in between, to be honest with you, because I think he's smart enough to know they weren't a cup contender, but I don't think anyone thought it was going to be this bad. I think it's a down the middle question on that one, Paulie. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was the last one of the four of us to give up on this team, and then finally, I had to throw the white flag in and say, okay, they suck. But I also never expected them to be a cup contender this year, and knowing the personnel that they have, look. If you accent this team with 3 or 4 really good draft picks and some excellent players, like Hckey just said, young 20 kids come in here with the rubrics coming up. Here's the biggest question this organization has at this time. We don't have any goaltending depth. I watch Hartford every night. You know why Gerard's not up? Because he sucks. He's terrible. When I say terrible, he makes this kid Martin look like Igor. Okay? He's awful. He's gone at the end of this year. He's probably not going to get re-signed. He's not going to be the backup next year. I don't know if you guys stuck around last night. Did you see how aggravated our boy got last night when the media said, "Are you in for the long haul, Jonathan? Or do you plan on staying, or do you want to leave to go to a cup contender?" And he looked right in the camera. He says, "I'm a Ranger. I'm here." And that was, he got up and walked away. I mean, there's nothing in this organization goaltending wise. And we don't have any defensive prospects either. We really need to restock this cupboard, bro. We're in trouble. You got Rubrick down there. You got to hope Otherman hits a little bit and plays the last couple games. He's played well. Who else you got down there? Seriously, who else is down there? Sikora is over with. That's gone. Yeah. I mean, Sikora is never going to be an NHL star.
Listen, I wanted to touch on this. Ricky, you stole my thunder. Boy, since Shesterkin's been hurt, how bad has it been? Like, Jonathan Quick was pretty good halfway through the season. And since Igor's been hurt, I think he has a below 700 save percentage, legitimately. Yeah, he has been horrible. Yeah. And, I mean, listen, I don't think the defense is doing any favors right now. Like, Gavrikov had a terrible turnover. He must have forgotten he was no longer an LA King. I mean, there's my teammate, led to a goal. But, yeah, listen, the season's going to 84 games, so a backup goaltender becomes that much more important. Boy, if Igor gets hurt like he did this season, this team, even if they are good, they're in trouble because Shesterkin's not going to be able to play 70 games in a season.
Maddie, go to your point from 3 months. Go to your point from a month ago with expansion. Not only don't we have one good backup goaltender right now, you need 2, and you need 2 in Hartford. So you need another 4 goalies that are NHL ready. Yeah. We don't have one.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But listen, I think there's a lot to be at least kind of excited about come trade deadline for this team. The big thing I got to talk about is Braden Schneider. Are we giving up on Braden Schneider? Because he's been horrible this year. Schneider and Gavrikov have been terrible compared to Gavrikov and Fox. I know Fox is a far better defenseman than Schneider. But I love Schneider coming up as a rookie. He was great. Whether they put him with Braun or whether they put him with Nemeth, Schneider was great on that third pair in 2022 when they made that first run. Now there's grumblings that San Jose wants him, which would be a good fit. Are we giving up on Braden Schneider at this point? I mean, because you got 4 right-handed defensemen in Fox, Borgen, and Morrow, and now Schneider too. I mean, is it time?
Well, I'm going to get back to the original question. I will touch on Schneider, okay, too. But I think Mike Sullivan came in here with open eyes, and I think he possibly thought that it was a veteran, team that could still do a little damage in the playoffs. But then I think it hit him like a load of bricks. Like, you just look at him behind the bench now sometimes there, and they focus on him. He's like just shaking his head a little bit. He never did that at the beginning of the year. So I think he's in a little bit of shock of how bad it's gone. As for Schneider, I'm disappointed in him big time. This guy, like Matt said, everybody all agreed the first couple of years. I mean, he was hitting guys. He dropped his gloves a couple times and did all right. Since then, whenever there's a scuffle or anything, he doesn't get involved like he did at the beginning of his time with the Rangers at all. He gets hit harder than any other New York Ranger defenseman on that squad. I've been saying this for 2 years to you, Paulie. Just watch how many times this guy gets hit. And I mean hit hard. You know what that means to me?
No respect.
Exactly. Nobody fears that you're going to retaliate. Nobody fears that you're going to give me the business right afterwards. And you know what? I can say the same thing about Borgen. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, listen to me.
These guys don't.
Enough with Borgen. Listen to me, Kotze. That son of a gun stood 10 feet away from Wilson when he ran over Laba. And you asked Matty, he skated by. Wilson went right to Borgen. Like, are you going to do something? And Borgen tapped him on his shin pad and skated in the other direction like a gosh darn coward.
And then they scored.
In today's hockey, Ricky and Matty and Paulie, you don't have to be a vicious hitter every game. You don't have to be. Tom Wilson doesn't hit everybody every game, does he? But I tell you what, they know where he is on that ice, don't they? I'd like to see them play a little bit more aggressive. I think Schneider all of a sudden, like in the last 2 years, thinks he's Adam Fox.
Well, listen, there's one player, Kotze, I want your honest opinion about.
I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I think I'm disappointed in his play, to be honest with you.
He's only second to me in disappointing on this team for a young guy. 2, Will Cooley. What has happened to Will Cooley?
He's done the same thing.
Yeah, but if you think there's somewhere in this organization where they're telling these guys not to fight?
Cooley is disappointing, but not as much as Schneider. I can't give you that.
Physically, he's disappointing.
Will Cooley has a chance to be the leader of the hitters on the forward area. Okay, and he still gets credited for a lot of hits, but I haven't seen a devastating hit in a long time.
No.
Okay, I haven't seen a devastating hit from Schneider in a long time. I'm talking devastating ones where like, wow, that was big time.
Wow.
They are the only guys that are capable of doing it. That's what I don't understand. You're not going to ask Othman to do it. You're not going to ask Perreault to do it. You're not going to ask Panarin or Zibanejad or anybody else up front. Will Cooley, that's...
Well, Kotze, you know what scares me the most about Cooley is...
The same thing with Borgen and Schneider. You're not going to get that out of Gavrikov. Gavrikov hits, but he just rides people out. That's the way he plays. Fox is not going to hit anybody. I just don't understand that part of the game. Like why don't these people use that as ammunition to be able to play a lot looser and a lot clearer? When you're feared, you know how different it is when the guys check you? They don't check you as hard anymore. They don't come within 2 feet of you anymore. But when you're not, when you're soft as butter, he's not going to do that.
Let me ask you, Matty and Paulie, His first game up in the NHL, he came up with Gallant and he fought Greenway, who's a good fighter, and he beat him. He beat him in Madison Square Garden. His next fight a couple months later was against Jack Johnson. Won the fight against a really strong NHL defenseman who's had not hundreds, but probably 30 fights in his career. His last 4 fights, I've gone back and watched, he's thrown 2 punches. He's gotten ragdolls by guys who should not even be in his league. He doesn't throw punches. He holds on, and he takes a couple to his chin, and he bails out. He's become Dave Maloney.
I just don't understand why that's not part of your repertoire as a player. I mean, they're capable physically of doing it, and yet they don't use it.
This kid was a man amongst men in juniors. I mean, I don't know if anybody went and watched him. Yeah. He ran people.
No, I loved him, man. I loved him last year.
He beat the piss out of people in junior. And he all of a sudden, but you know what? This will haunt me for a long time. And this was not Sullivan, but it was what's his name? Peter Lafat. Lafat. Rempe used to have to look over at the bench and get permission to drop his gloves.
I know.
I mean, I don't want to go on a tirade. I'm in a good mood tonight. Next thing I'll know, I'll be talking about Keandre Miller.
The best Ranger first-round pick in the last decade, Keandre Miller.
Ricky, let me tell you something, man. You're pretty good. You're pretty good at this stuff, okay? When it comes to the fisticuffs, I was nowhere near the top fighter in the leagues. I never had a lot of fights when you really compared to the rest of the guys in my time. I was never ever told to go fight somebody, ever. Nobody ever came to me on the bench to top me and said, "Go get that guy." I knew when to step in. And if you don't know when to step in and you got to wait for a fucking coach to tell you, then go back in the dressing room and take a shower and get back in your civvies. Okay? That's the way I look at it. If somebody's messing around with Panarin and I'm on the ice, I'm there. You watch me play. I'll be shoving that guy away and I'll be telling him, leave him fucking alone or we're going to go.
I can't remember the guy's name, but just yesterday I saw a fight for the first time I've never seen of yours. You were a Ranger against a Detroit Red Wing, and I can't remember the guy's name now. But yeah, Kotz, I mean, I watched you with one of your best friends in the world in Hartford tackle Fatiyu. I've watched you challenge Beck. I've watched you challenge Gillies. I watched you fight Probert. I mean, there's no question in the world.
What I'm saying is you shouldn't have to.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you did that out of instinct. You did that out of natural instinct to protect somebody or whatever. You didn't look over at Shiro or look over at whoever your coach was in Toronto and nod your head. This is what I'm saying. It's a game. It's a reflex reaction. And if you have to overthink being physical, you think long, you think wrong. And the Rangers look like they're
smart. I agree. I've been saying that for a long time. I just don't understand, like you said the other day, I don't care. I don't care who Tom Wilson is. I'm on the ice. He does that to one of my players, especially one of my young prospective players. I'm dropping the fucking gloves. I don't need to talk. I don't need to.
Panarin went after him.
I don't care who you are. I don't care. I don't care. You got to make a statement. And I've always, and Kotze will tell you, I'll ask you. I've asked him a million times. We've talked about so many players. Keandre Miller being one of them. Keandre Miller, Kotze used to say all the time, this kid's got all the tools, yet he doesn't use them. Here we are again. We're talking about more players that have tools that they aren't using. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the wokeism. I don't know if it's the mindset of the player. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is. But a man's instinct alone should be, I'm a fucly man. I got, this is my job. I got to do something here. First of all,
Paulie, if Keandre Miller had this much viciousness in him, he'd be one of the best defensemen in the league.
Oh, yeah.
You know why? Because nobody would be going near him.
Yeah.
6'5", he's 220 pounds.
Fast.
He could never draw the viciousness out of him. Even the one time that he dropped his gloves when they had that 5-on-5 fight, remember? Or whatever for him. He put threw the guy around. That was it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but here's the thing. My thing is those types of things aren't really taught. They're inside of you.
Exactly.
That's inside of you. That's inside of you as a man, as a teammate, as a player. You should love your teammates. You should stick up for yourself. You're talking about Snyder. He constantly gets decked, constantly. At some point, drop your gloves, rip somebody's fucking face off, and be like, nah, this ain't happening.
Did you see Trouba tried to kill him the other night? Trouba took like a 10-foot run at him and just missed him in center ice.
I saw it.
I fell asleep.
You know what I didn't do last night for the first time? I turned the TV off when it was 4-2. I couldn't watch it anymore. First time.
Yeah, I haven't watched. This year has been the least amount of New York Ranger hockey I've watched, I think, in my entire life, man.
Wow.
I can't watch them. They make me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
It's so hard to watch this team just constantly fail, constantly just miss opportunities and just play stupid and just get burnt and just I think I said this a week or two ago. I feel like all the stars have aligned for this team to fail this year. Like, I think early on,
the problem, Paulie. These are the idiots that'll win 2 games with 2 games left in the year to finish not last. That's how stupid this organization is.
Yeah.
So
Well, listen,
Matty, what spot are we in right now drafting?
West. I mean, there's a lot of bad teams in the West.
I think we're like number 5, right? That's
5 or 6, something like that. But listen, I'm going to ask the panel here because I know we're running low.
Yep, this is it.
What is let's call it St. Patrick's Day. The deadline has passed. What is a successful trade deadline to you? What does this roster look like? For me, you got to have 2 players under 21 that are playing currently on the roster. You have to get another first this year, maybe a first next year. So you'll have 5 first-round picks over 2 years. And you just build from there. But if you don't have 2 roster players under 21 to build off of, that's what I think would be successful. So I'll ask the panel, what do you think come, let's just say St. Patrick's Day, this roster should look like, and what would you say is a good thing for this roster to look like?
I think that's a big wish, 2 players under 21. I'd say.
Well, it depends who you're trading. I mean, listen, if you're trading Schneider, Trocheck, Panarin, Susie, I mean,
I'd say 23 and under, but we really just don't have a lot to offer. We all talked about it. Unfortunately, the number 1 chip that we have is going to decide where he's going to go, right? So the number 1 trading piece that you have, really, it's a detriment because you're not signing him, you're not keeping him, and now it's his choice where he wants to go. So now you have to dig, or you just let him become a free agent, and that would be stupid too, right? So now, depending on where he has to go, you have to dig through their pool. What's available? What are they going to give up, right? So I think that's problem number 1. Problem number 2, I didn't read this, but I definitely would believe what you're saying, Rick, is that our best player right now, who we all said and agreed, would be Mika Zibanejad, to be honest with you. I think he needs to be moved, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Not because I don't love the guy, because I do love him. I always loved him. Kotze had said for years, this team goes as Mika goes, and it's true. When he's on, he is by far the best player that we have because he plays in every possible situation. The problem is, again, you have an older player, not sure what you're going to get with him, and now he doesn't. If he's saying, hey, I don't want to move, I want to be part of whatever the Rangers do, here's another piece that, what are you going to do? So the pieces that we have don't draw back what you're asking for. The one guy, like you said, would be Trocheck because teams are tough or thin or looking for center ice. And to Kotze's point, he's gritty. He's there. He's not exceptionally talented. He's definitely not going to be the difference between winning and losing a Stanley Cup, I don't believe. He's going to win you face-offs. He's going to play in every kind of situation. That's the good part about him. But what does he draw? Does he truly draw you what you're asking? So
I think he's the most valuable one that we have, to be honest with you.
Right. So, well, that can bring you back something because, like I said, with Panarin, it's a crapshoot with Panarin, unfortunately, and he's the best thing that you have to give away. But he's picking. If he wants to go somewhere where, let's say, Dallas or Colorado, like Rick was saying, Colorado doesn't have much to offer up. But what do? Do you take nothing for him? So that's the problem. So I would bring you back to one other thing that we just talked about. Is it a point where guys like Schneider, which we were hoping for, guys like Lafreniere, which who knows what's going to happen? Is it now you got to start digging into the things that you were possibly going to build off of to try to get a better, what do? They package Schneider with Lafreniere or whoever else. There's so many moves here. At the end of the day, to answer your question, all I want is fair value for what they're going to give up and really, dedication. I don't know what the free agent market's going to look like in the summer, but, I think some prospects. And then if we decide or they decide that they're going to go full rebuild, I think they keep Lafreniere and start from there and build out. I mean, you're not getting rid of Miller. Doesn't look like Zibanejad's going anywhere. Shesterkin's signed till he's dead, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what to say, Matt. I think we all have accepted that it's going to be a while. I don't know that this year at the trade line you're going to get even close to what you're thinking.
I disagree, but I'd like to hear Hckey and Ricky on that point.
I like what Matt says, and I like what Paulie says. I think deep down, the key word in here, 2 words. Is it a rebuild or a retool? If it's a retool, then you keep the older guys, isn't it? If it's a rebuild, the old guys got to go. That's all there is to it, plain and simple. Make up your mind, guys. It's either a retool or a rebuild. When you rebuild, you don't keep the 30-year-old guys around, do you?
No.
So,
well, we have a lot of them, so it might be hard not to keep a few.
You know what? I'll give you guys another inside scoop. Talking with these 2 former teammates of mine, I don't know if I agree with it 100%, but if I was GM, I might do it. I would go to some of these older guys, and I would tell them flat out, where do you want to go? Do you want to be traded? Because if you don't want to be traded, then you're going to sit at home and I'll send you your paycheck. That's all there is to it. They did it to Wade Redden.
Yeah.
Cocaine did it to Wade Redden.
They did it to Wade Redden. He wrote a bus for 2 years to collect that $6 million.
Oh, he sure did. He sure did. But hey, let me ask you a question real quick because we got to wrap this up. One of the most valuable guys we have in the NHL right now is Adam Fox, right? Adam Fox is prime when he's healthy, came back, looked like a mega superstar. What's your time frame? Let's say, just hypothetically, we trade Trocheck, we trade Soucy, we trade what's his face, Panarin's gone, and maybe 1 or 2 other guys, say Schneider. We lose those 5 guys. What's your rebuild time frame? Now you're looking 3 to 4 years till you're a Stanley Cup contender, right? Till we could actually say if we draft well and we get players back. Fox is 32 at that point. Maybe Fox is the most valuable guy we have as a blue chip trade prospect. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. He doesn't have no move. He's got very limited control of his deal, and he's a superstar. And a lot of teams would overpay for Adam Fox.
Well, you'd have to get a Quinn Hughes-like haul because he has more term than Quinn Hughes.
You would 100%.
Ricky, I think he has a partial no move somewhere.
Well,
that's coming up or something.
He grew up a Ranger fan. I don't see them doing that, but then again, you never know. I mean, he could.
I don't care where you grew up.
Well, I'm just saying. I know you don't care.
I trade my freaking mother if I can get a good player. I mean, I'm just saying. Maddie, here's the problem with your generation, and this is not a knock at you. You know I love you to death, right? Your guys, you're very pro player in your generation. You guys proved that with everyone hates Trouba now. Jury sucks because he forced Trocheck, he forced Goodrow out. Back in the day, bro, like Hckey just said, you didn't like it, go sit down. You didn't like it, go home. And people accepted that because they're multimillionaires. that are making big money, and if they're not doing what the team wants, why do we have to cater to the player? Why do we care if Fox grew up as a Ranger fan? And again, I'm not picking on you at all. I'm just saying it's like the game has become so soft that the fans feel sorry for guys making $10 million a year. They're not performing.
Well, listen, I'll leave it at this. It is a seller's market. So I think you guys who are a little more doom and gloom on what the Rangers will get, there's been a lot of overpays thus far in the trade deadline. You're right. But to Ricky's point, you said this, you need to make the first move. Because if you're waiting till the trade deadline and somebody already made a move and got a prospect or something that you could have had, then you're not getting that guy. So
if they give up Kadri and they get that Ritchie guy, right? I'm just saying if they get Ritchie for Kadri, right? And we're left with our hand on our ass because that's the only guy worth getting from that team.
Yeah. And listen, Ryan Lindgren and Jimmy Vesey went for Calvin DeHaan, Parsonen, a second and a fourth. So Soucy is probably a better defenseman than Lindgren. It's comparable return just on Carson Soucy, right? I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe like a second and a fifth round pick for Soucy. That's what I would say. Okay. If you're going to trade Panarin, you're probably going to get a first, an NHL ready player, and a prospect. That's what Panarin's worth. If not, maybe a little bit more. Because if he gives you 3 or 4 teams to wave to. But like you said, if he gives you one, and this is where he wants to go, that's it. And Trocheck is the big fish. Trocheck can get a ton back because there's not a deep center market right now. So
Matty,
they can make it happen.
There's a problem with Panarin, though, is if you do agree to a team to trade him to, is that team going to be able to sign him before they give up all that you're talking about?
I think it's going to be a sign and trade with him, to be honest with you.
But what I'm saying is that I don't know if I'd be willing to take Panarin on knowing that I'm not going to get him at the end of the year.
Right.
He might go somewhere else.
Saying.
You know, like
Matty's big point all season long.
For your organization, like, okay, we need a scorer, but he don't want to play here after the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, Matty's big thing all year long, and he's been dead on, is these 8-year contracts are coming to an end, right? So I'm telling you, you're going to see a sign and trade with him. I'm just making up a hypothetical. He's going to go to Dallas for 8 years, front-loaded, $11 million.
If I'm trading for him, that's what I want. I want to make sure it's a sign and trade.
Sign and trade.
I don't want him to come there and we get beat out in the first round. And all of a sudden, I gave up a first rounder, a decent player, and a third rounder, and I got empty hands.
Oh, so in other words, you don't want to make the Chris Drury trade deadline Kane deal ever again.
Exactly.
Ever again, yeah. What fun it is to ride on the Instigators sleigh. Wow. I love it, man. I love it.
I'll send you a shovel. I heard you got snow in Florida.
I'm going to be.
You see what we're getting here, Paulie? 20 inches.
I'm going to be in Blue Ridge.
How many are you supposed to get, Paulie? How much are you getting? They're predicting 20 to 24 inches for Nashville.
I get nothing.
It's Sunday, right?
Nothing.
Wait, what?
Sunday, right?
Saturday into Sunday into Monday. 3 days, they're saying.
In Nashville.
Listen, I'm telling you right now.
I'm go down to the rink there and get the Zamboni out to clear.
I'm telling you right now. I have to work that Monday, but next week my day off is Tuesday. I hope it snows so much that the mail doesn't come on Monday, so that I'm off Tuesday. I don't have to deal with that shit. To be 100% honest with you guys.
I'm calling sick Monday. That way you got a 4-day weekend.
I'm live. You realize how bad that is? I'm on live. I can't do that. But I think I do have a cold.
Hey, the mail must get through. Remember that.
You don't sound so good.
Hey, Newman, you'll be there. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
It's been a pleasure.
All right.
And it's been fun. We got to go. We'll see everybody next week. I leave you with this.
Welcome to the Instigators with Paulie D and Chris Kotsopoulos.
Oh, here we go.
Good night, everybody.
That's a bunch of garbage. And it's being proven right now.